Namaste and jaishreekrishna. Today we would be narrating the pastime of Pavithropanaa or Putrada Ekadashi. It is said that if one observes Ekadashi, then one receives entrance to Lord Vishnu's abode. Simply by listening to this ekadashikabhai, one attains the same merit as observing the fast. Please listen attentively. Pavithropanaa Ekadashi pastime. Shri Yudhishthir Maharaj said, O Madhusudan, O killer of the demon Madhu, please be merciful to me and describe to me the Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Shraavan, July-August. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna replied, Yes, O King, I shall happily narrate its glories to you, for just by hearing about this sacred Ekadashi, one attains the merit of performing a horse sacrifice.
Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to encourage more videos like this.
At the dawn of Dwarpayug, there lived a king by the name of Mahijit, who ruled the kingdom of Mahishmati Puri. Because he had no son, his entire kingdom seemed utterly cheerless to him. A married man who has no son gains no happiness in this life or the next. The Sanskrit word for son is putra, who is the name of a particular hell, and tra means to deliver. Thus the word putra means a person who delivers one from the hell, named Pu. Therefore every married man should produce at least one son and train him properly. Then the father would be delivered from a hellish condition of life. But this injunction does not apply to the serious devotees of Lord Vishnu or Krishna, for the Lord becomes their son, father, and mother. For a long time this king tried very hard to obtain a heir, but to no avail. Seeing his years advancing ever onwards, King Mahijit became increasingly anxious. One day he told an assembly of his advisers, I have committed no sin in this life, and there is no ill-gotten wealth in my treasury. I have never usurped the offerings to the Devas or Brahmins. When I waged war and conquered kingdoms, I followed the rules and regulations of the military art, and I have protected my subjects as if they were my very own children. I punished even my own relatives if they broke the law. And if my enemy was gentle and religious, I welcomed him. O twice-born souls, although I am a religious and faithful follower of the Vedic standards, still my home is without a son. Kindly tell me the reason for this. Hearing this, the king's Brahmin advisers discussed the subject amongst themselves, and with the aim of benefiting the king, they visited the various ashrams of the great sages. At last, they came upon a sage who was austere, pure, and self-satisfied, and who was strictly observing a vow of fasting. His senses were completely under control. He had conquered his anger, and he was expert at performing his occupational duty. Indeed, this great sage was expert in all the conclusions of the Vedas, and he had extended his lifespan to that of Lord Brahma himself. His name was Lomasha Rishi, and he knew past, present, and future. After each kalpa passed, one hair would fall out of his body. One kalpa, or 12 hours of Lord Brahma, equals 4,320,000,000 years. All the king's Brahmin advisers very happily approached him one by one to offer their humble respects. Captivated by this great soul, King Mahijit's advisers offered obeisances to him and said very respectfully, Only because of our great good fortune, O sage, have we been allowed to see you. Lomasha Rishi saw them bowing down to him and replied, Kindly let me know why you have come here. Why are you praising me? I must do all I can to solve your problems. For sages like me have only one interest, to help others. Do not doubt this. The king's representative said, We have come to you, O exalted sage, to ask for your help in solving a very serious problem. O sage, you are like Lord Brahma. Indeed, there is no better sage in the entire world. Our king, Mahijit, is without a son, though he has sustained and protected us as if we were his sons. Seeing him so unhappy on account of being sonless, we have become very sad, O sage, and therefore we have entered the forest to perform severe austerities. By our good fortune, we happen to see you. Everyone's desires and activities become successful just by your darshan. Thus we humbly ask that you tell us how our kind king can obtain a son. Hearing their sincere plea, Lomasha Rishi absorbed himself in deep meditation for a moment and at once understood the king's previous life. Then he said, Your ruler was a merchant in his past life, and feeling his wealth insufficient, he committed sinful deeds. He travelled to many villages to trade his goods. Once at noon on the day after the Ekadashi that comes during the light fortnight of the month of Jaishreekrishna, May-June, he became thirsty while travelling from place to place. He came upon a beautiful pond on the outskirts of a village, but just as he was about to drink at the pond, a cow arrived there with her newborn calf. These two creatures were also very thirsty because of the heat, but when the cow and calf started to drink, the merchant rudely shoved them aside and selfishly slaked his own thirst. This offense against a cow and her calf has resulted in your king's being without a son now. But the good deeds he performed in his previous life have given him rulership over an undisturbed kingdom. Hearing this, the king's advisors replied, O renowned Rishi, we have heard that the Vedas say one can nullify the effects of one's past sins by acquiring merit. Be so kind as to give us some instruction by which our king's sins can be destroyed. Please give him your mercy so that a prince will take birth in his family. Lomasha Rishi said, there is an Ekadashi named Putrada which comes during the light fortnight of the month of Shravan. On this day, all of you, including your king, should fast and stay awake all night, strictly following the rules and regulations. Then you should give the king whatever merit you gain by this fast. If you follow these instructions of mine, he will surely be blessed with a fine son. All the king's advisors became very pleased to hear these words from Lomasha Rishi, and they all offered him their grateful obeisances. Then, their eyes bright with happiness, they returned home. When the month of Shravan arrived, the king's advisors remembered the advice of Lomasha Rishi, and under their direction all the citizens of Mahishmati Puri as well as the king fasted on Ekadashi, and on the next day, Dwadashi, the citizens dutifully offered their accrued merit to him. By the strength of all this merit, the queen became pregnant and eventually gave birth to a most beautiful son. O Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna concluded, the Ekadashi that comes during the light fortnight of the month of Shravan has thus rightfully become famous as Putrada, bestower of a son. Whoever desires happiness in this world and the next should certainly fast from all grains and legumes on this holy day. Indeed, whoever simply hears the glories of Putrada Ekadashi becomes completely free of all sins, is blessed with a good son, and surely ascends to heaven after death. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Shravan Shukla Ekadashi or Puthradaa Ekadashi from the Bhavishya Uttar Puran.